Yes, hello there and welcome here to another session, and it's an awesome day, we thank God. Adobe Premiere Pro 2021 version, as usual, new features are always there. So without wasting time, let us just jump to the new features that personally I have seen in the 2021 version. And the first thing, moving on to my editing software, I'm going to take this video here and drag it on my timeline. If you check the video, at some point here, we are going to discover where there is a bit shaking. So in this case, what I did, because was avoiding to do too much work, I just had this video and I took the warp stabilizer. If you apply the warp stabilizer, you're going to discover that the flow, now I'm going to use this one already, it has already finished stabilizing. So this is what happens in the case of warp stabilizer. It's stabilizing better than 2020. I don't know what new has been added, but you cannot notice the shake. So I'm going to hold it at that point. I zoom in a bit. So I will remove the warp stabilizer so you can see the difference. At that point, it was very fast, but when you apply the warp stabilizer, it's slow, so it appears like you have applied slow motion. So the warp stabilizers have been there even in 2018, 2017, 2016 version, but one thing I have loved with this is the smooth slow is awesome, and it's very fast now with the 2021 version. It's not as slow as the other versions unless you are using a gaming laptop. Now that is one. The next thing is one thing that has made me give a salute to Adobe. Now this is one thing that has been disturbing me personally, and that is what is called the text to speech. Wow. Or the speech to text. Adobe, I salute you for this. So with this video, I just want to show you, this is what Adobe has introduced. They have brought in something called the caption, and the transcribing option is now made easier. So I'm going to just zoom into my work. Okay, let me drag it to my timeline. You can just change. So this is my video. If you watch the video. Yes, hello there. Welcome here to another session, and today we are going to be looking at something else. Now, what we want to do is to apply the caption, because it takes time before you used to go to the internet to look at transcribing options, different ways. But with Adobe right now, they have made it easier. You can just go direct to your editing software and you are going to transcribe your work perfectly. So without wasting time, you just come to the work. Once you drag your work in the timeline, just come to caption. Make sure that you're using a computer that is fast. For those who are using gaming laptops, it's a bonus. So once you click on the caption, you're going to have the option of text here. So that's an added advantage on our end. So what we want now is to apply the caption. So how do you go about adding caption? Very simple. You will just come to your work. Let me just move this a bit so I can be able to see my work. So you have everything at that point. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this option. Once you click on the text, it's going to give you that. Now, it varies. In this case, we have two options. The first one is the transcribed sequence, which you are going to see how it works, and the second one is create new caption track. Now, personally, what I want to do is to begin with the first one, and I'm going to transcribe the sequence that is on my timeline. It's going to transcribe whatever the audio is, so it's audio on track. Then make sure that it's obvious it's going to be English, unless you have another language you want. But in my case, I have English. Then I transcribe. So it's going to take time as it's transcribing. So you just give it time, and it's very fast. If you are using a machine that has a high graphic card, it's going to be moving up fast like that. Then in just few seconds, your work will be there. I think Adobe, if there's anything Adobe has done to help us, it's this work. Thank you, Adobe, once again. And I don't know why I'm much into advertising Adobe. Yeah, but they are doing a good job. I love that. So few seconds, and it's a 25 seconds clip, so you can now, if you have a long one, it's going to take time. So there you go. So you can just move this a bit. You can be able to see our text, so let us see how it goes. Yes, hello there, welcome here to another session, and today we are going to be looking at something else, and that is what is called disappearing in a piece of cloth. So I want to so that's how you go about it. Now once you have all that, you cannot export your work when all this is at this point. Then if you are having two if it's a conversation between two people, you are going to have speaker 1 and speaker 2. But in this case, because I'm only talking as an individual, that's why you see speaker 1 is going to be repeated in all the areas I'm going to talk. Now once you have all this, you can now create your caption. The format is subtitle, style is none, then okay. So once you do that, you are going to find there's another option which is going to be added just on top here. Once it finishes, it's going to add it automatically on top. So it's creating the caption. Immediately it finishes, it's going to add automatically. And there you go. It has added on the timeline. So if we move this a bit and we move this a bit, so if we go to the beginning of our work and we put full screen, you are going to see. Yes, hello there, welcome here to another session. Let me change my quality to full, back to full screen. And today we are going to be looking else, and that is what is called disappearing in a piece of cloth. So that's a bonus, and that's an added advantage. Adobe, we appreciate a lot. This we don't take it for granted, because some of us on a daily basis we work on transcribing. So once you do that, you can select your text. You can select the entire work. So because you want to change one or two things, after selecting your work, you can just come and decide what do you want to do. You want to change maybe the size, the shadows, you want to remove the shadows or all that. If you want to do all that, you can just come to this option and change. If you see like your text is, you don't want it there, you can change where you want your text to appear. Maybe on top, below, on the left hand side or the right hand side maybe. Now it varies on how you want it. But because I want my work to be centered, I will just put it at the center. So you have your work there. Now at this point, you will have another option maybe, and where you always have the text and you discover the text is too small. So if you want to increase the size of the text, you will come to this option. Right now is at 48. We can work with something like 80. Let's see how it looks like. And you can move this a bit. That is 80. You can still move even to 100 and see how 100 looks like. 100 is too big, so you can just opt to use 80. Yeah, 80 is good. So at the same time, if you want to change the font, maybe you feel like Tahoma is not good, maybe you feel I don't love the Tahoma text, you can change any text depending on your preferences. So you have many options here. Okay, it keeps on giving you issues. Don't worry. So from Tahoma, you can change to any other, now depending on how you want it. There are more than 1,000, so you can just work with whichever you want. But in this case, I was just explaining, so you will decide which option you want. So once you do all that, you now have your work at that point, and you can now export your work. Now, one thing I have also loved with the 2021 feature is the quick export. So on this option, there is the quick export. If you click on the quick export, it's going to give you the option of exporting your work without going to file export, where at some point if you used to go to that, you will discover that maybe some point you find your computer used to hang, or maybe such problems. So on this part, you have the quick export. Once you click on the quick export, you just come select where you want to export your work to. Maybe I want to rename my work as Stabilize. I just save, and it has options here. I'm saving 1280 by 720, 25 frame rate per second. You can change depending on, and the options here are few. Personally, I have made this to be the favorites because I either work with full HD or 4K video. So that's why these two options are here. So if I wanted the full HD, there you go, and then you click on export, and it gives you even the size of your work. Once you export, you have your work at that point, and it's exporting. There's also a new option that Adobe has included, and that is, for example, if you're a big fan of Zach King and the editing he does, you will discover most of the time Zach King's work is full of masking and cuts along the way. So Adobe has also introduced another new thing, that if you click on your work, for example, in this case, we have this video. This video I did as an inspiration from Zach King. If you want to watch the tutorial to this, you will find it just above here. So at this point where I was changing clothes, and if you see like this shirt does not fit the occasion, maybe you want to be a bit official, you also change the event depending on where you want. For example, I want to be more African to promote maybe my country, or maybe to promote the African attire. I will also change. Yes. So I will select that part. If you drag this work and you have your work there, when I have these different kind of clothes, we want to know where the jump cuts were, or maybe where there were cuts along the way while editing. So you'll just click on your work, you just come to your work, edit, you click just below the speed stroke duration. You're going to see something called scene edit detection. If you click on the scene edit detection, you're going to apply a cut at each detected cut point. So anywhere we had a cut before, it's going to apply there. So if you analyze it, you can also create a bin for subscript, but personally my only concern is to know where there was a cut. So if I analyze my work, it's going to analyze the entire clip, and it's going to detect at this point, at this point, at this point, there was a cut. So it's going to split all the areas that there were cuts, and as it's analyzing, that's why I'm talking. So it's analyzing, and this is, I can say, Adobe, you have done a wonder, yeah? So Zach King, at least I will now be able to know the areas where you had cuts along the way, or where you applied masking. At least my editing is now made easier. Oh, it has finished analyzing, and there you go. Now if you zoom in, now those are the 3 cuts where while editing I had the cuts. We can just confirm, and you can be able to discover at the exact point where I was changing clothes, there was a cut. So this editing software is awesome. At least we can now be able to understand where there are cuts. Yes. So that's a bonus from Adobe, and thank you Adobe for that, and it's a salute. As our new slogan, creativity carries the day. Thank you.